Hello, everyone.
You so much. Happy International Day of Education, and thank you for the invitation to the Department of Education of the Philippines. It is a complete honor to be here with you all. Um, and I want to start by saying you are incredible. I want to acknowledge your heroism, the fact that you are showing up every single day and giving your best self. The world came to see the value and importance of teachers. Now, they may have known how instrumental we were in terms of what we provide in education, the knowledge that we pour into our children. But once the pandemic hit and families were forced to have children at home, the world came to understand that our work is not easy. And the dedication that educators have on a day-to-day basis to ensure that our children have what they need is incredible. So I want to say to you, thank you. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you continue to do, and to also recognize that you are pouring into others, but you have to make time to pour into yourself as well. I've been asked to share my story, but also to focus on our leaders. And as a leader, I never forget my role and responsibility as a teacher first. And in the midst of the pandemic, we weren't necessarily prepared for the shutdown of schools. You would think that being in New York City, especially in the United States of America, that we would have a plan of action, but we actually did. The idea that our schools would be completely shut down for months at a time never occurred to those who were in positions to make different decisions. So the responsibility came on the shoulders of the leaders. And I was actually on a medical leave because I was literally getting myself back in order from all of the stress that I had incurred just doing the work on day-to-day basis. But what I understood was that my staff, the ones who have completely dedicated their lives to our children and the community that we serve, they were going to be showing up. They were going to be planning, and they needed leadership to step up and provide them with inspiration and offer some hope, because in New York City, we were literally the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, right? And so we had teachers who were getting sick and going to the hospital, but we also had fellow leaders who literally passed away because of the virus. And so what I remembered was we come from a lineage of villagers. And we understand that when one of us is in need, then we all have to gather together. And so I gathered my team. First, we met on Zoom and we created a plan of action. And what we did is we literally started to unpack, what do we have in our school? What systems do we already have? What platforms can we use? And then we had to come to the realization not every child has access to technology. They don't have Wi-Fi capabilities. Parents are not working. There's multiple children in a household. So even if they do have the opportunity of getting on a computer, if you have 5 or 6 children in one household, how can we make sure that all of them have access to their classroom experience? So we immediately came up with a plan B. So we had plan A, online instruction, and then plan B to add to plan A was, let's get packages together. Let's start calling our families. Let's start visiting homes if we need to, because we need to make sure that they're equipped with everything that they're going to need. Because for me, when they said pandemic, I knew it wasn't going to be 2 or 3 days. I understood that this was going to be for the long haul. And so my team rallied together for 2 or 3 days. We got everything in order. And I know that there are many leaders who know exactly what I'm talking about. That because you don't even have a blueprint, you have to create something out of nothing. and that you know your team is relying on your leadership because all they have is this idea of, if we're all in this together, we will be okay. And so we got our families what they needed. We made copies and packets, and we gave out books, and so many things went out. But my team was tired and they were overwhelmed, and they felt the stress of some children can get on and some cannot. They even were incurring issues because it seemed like, because everybody was home, it didn't make it accessible for even the teachers to get on. And so some of them were feeling overwhelmed, and some were feeling as though, I don't know if I can do this. I feel like I'm failing the children. And so we had to rally the troops. It was myself and my assistant principal. And I was honest with them. I said, listen, we've never been here before. But I want you to remember, we have young children who in this moment, they need us. They come from some of the poorest households. And if we don't get this right, if we don't at least try, then we're going to impact generations of children. So the minimum that we can do is we have to show up online. The minimum that we can do is that we have to make a phone call. But we also have to keep each other encouraged. So I need us to buddy up with someone, okay? And so each teacher had to have someone that they connected with, that they would check up on, and that we would make sure that no person was going to be left behind, because we are our own village. And so when it got really tough, and I literally had staff members whose family members were at home with them and they were passing away. I remember I had one of my lead teachers for special education. She was texting us at 9:25 and everything seemed fine. And at 9:28, her grandfather passed away. It was the most devastating news. 9:29, I was texting my team and I said to them, I need someone to go into that virtual classroom because she has to deal with this. Her entire family's in the house right now. 3 teachers showed up into that classroom and made sure that those children were going to be okay. And so that happened because leadership showed up. That happened because leadership was willing to listen and to advocate for the team. And so I want to thank each and every one of you who serves a role as a leader through title, but also to every single one of you teachers who are on here, because I want you to know you're a leader as well. You are setting the example. Every single day that you show up into the classroom, our children need you and they're listening and they're being guided by you. And I know sometimes it's tough. You don't even know if what you're doing is making a difference, but I promise you that it is. 10, 15 years from now, I heard the Secretary of Education say, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the impact will be on our children, because we have no idea how far this was going to affect them. But what I can tell you is this: they will remember the love that you shared. They will remember the words of inspiration that you say every single day. The fact that you say good morning, you ask, how are you? That you have a smile, even when within you may be feeling that you're not at your very best. I want you to know that children thrive off of your energy. And so you lead by example. You don't need a title to do that. You lead by just entering a classroom physically or virtually. You lead by just knowing that you have been called by your Creator. And for me, I know that God has chosen us for this appointed time, because He understands that it takes a special person. It takes someone who is selfless. And so when you are feeling like you can't do it anymore, you are questioning, What else could we possibly go through? I want you to take a moment and I want you to just pray. Prayers always work. And God never fails us. In this moment, He is showing all of us how to lead. He is showing us who is really for this work. And the young people that we touch every single day, their lives that are being changed, even in this moment, so much has been taken from them, but so much is being given as well. And so I want to encourage you. I've been to the Philippines and I can't wait until I get an opportunity to go back. I want to say that you are an exceptional group of individuals. Your love and regard, your humility, the way you love on each other, it's inspiring to me. And that's why I'm here this morning, because I said to Jim and Ryan, who reached out, I said, absolutely. Because what I felt when I went to the Philippines from individuals who I had no idea, I didn't know anyone's name. Some people introduced themselves. There was so much love. And so I know our children are in good hands. And so I want to leave you with this. You have to recognize that this is hard work. And we are literally moving through a revolutionary period. We talk about the fourth industrial revolution and the need for creativity and connections and collaboration, all the C's. But this right now, this revolutionary period is calling on us to recognize our capabilities. That's a C that we also need to recognize, our own personal capabilities. I want you to know that you need to lean on your village. It is okay not to know every single answer. And to the leaders, the heads of schools, please create the safe environment for your team. The same way we're expected to do for our children, the same way that we're supposed to know their social emotional needs, the same way we need to know their academic needs, we have to do the same for our staff members. Because there's such a learning curve that's happening here. And they're having to figure out themselves in this moment. So we have to make sure that we listen, that we're willing to provide them with the resources, that we're willing to advocate for them. But as a collective, no matter your title, you have to take care of yourselves. The only way that we can do this work is that we have to engage in self-care. We have to learn to breathe. We have to learn to pause, and we have to be allowed to ask for help. Like I said, I believe in you. You are our superheroes. But I don't want you to wear your cape if you're not capable of flying. I want you to say that I need help and someone be able to offer it to you. I hope that you're encouraged this evening. I thank you so much for this opportunity. I will be watching the rest of this program. But again, happy International Day of Education and continue to do great work.